Yo Guardian fans, it's Ed Park aka Taugrim. I'm playing a Guardian Spec here for Meditations and Signets. When I cast a Signet, it removes a condition or debuff, and when I cast a Meditation, it heals me for 1970. We start off with some really intense fighting at the clock tower, and things start to feel like they're going south, so I go ahead and activate my Virtue of Resolve and Virtue of Courage. Resolve gives your group an AoE heal, and Courage gives your group an AoE Aegis buff, which will block the next incoming attack on each person. Now, those have really long cooldowns by default. They're like 60 seconds and 90 seconds respectively. And the other virtue is called Justice, and in my opinion, you really want to use it whenever it's off cooldown, so I haven't used mine yet, but when you activate it, what it does is gives a buff to friendly players so that their next attack will apply a 5-second burn effect. So you'll see in a moment here, I switch over to my sword and shield weapon set. Go ahead, and I'm using the buff there, the Shield 4 ability, which both damages opponents as well as provides a protection buff. So that's 33% mitigation to you and your allies. And then I knock the opponents. I clear the platform using the Shield 5 ability, which is awesome. And then I teleport to this low health warrior using Sword 2, put the Sword 3 Zealot's Defense Channel ability, and then I activate Virtue of Justice. And you can see as soon as the opponent is dead, as soon as he's killed, Virtue of Justice is refreshed. And that happens if you have at least 15 points in the Radiance trait line. So you get a lot of mileage out of Virtue of Justice. You can see there are a lot of people on fire, enemy players. Actually, I'm on fire now too. I just got pushed back through that Elementalist ring. The spec has really high sustained healing, so 6 sources of healing. I can heal with the Signet of Resolve every 24 seconds for 6620. Every time I cast a Meditation, it heals me for 1970, and Smite's on a 16-second cooldown, and I think the Teleport one, Judge's Intervention, that's like on a 36-second cooldown. And then, okay, so those are 2 sources of healing. Whenever I crit, which is 36% of the time, so on a crit, there's a 30% chance that I apply a lifesteal for 325. So you can see all these little green numbers popping up. I have lots of sustained healing. And then the 4th source of healing is whenever I have an Aegis removed, it heals me for 655, and that's because of the 10-point talent in the honor tree. And then, of course, I have the passive 92 ticks there from the passive effect for Virtue of Resolve. And then if I activate Virtue of Resolve, the passive effect goes away, but it'll AoE heal for about 1700. So you can see that opponent there was on fire. It's because I activated my Virtue of Justice, and it's up again, so I go ahead and pop it. For sustained damage, it's really important to use your Virtue of Justice. And when I'm watching other Guardians play, that's something I look for. Are they actively using their Virtue of Justice, which by default will apply a 1-second burn effect for every 5th attack, but that kind of pales in comparison to being able to pop it every 30 seconds and provide you and all your friendlies with a 5-second burn effect on your next attack. And keep in mind, with 15 points in the Radiance tree, cooldowns refresh whenever an opponent dies. So we're trying to keep an eye on the top of the platform here, and I get knocked back, and I go ahead and port over to this target with the Sword 2 ability. It absolutely rocks. And the target reappears lower down the ramp. I use the Sword 3 ability, which is a nice channel. And then I dodge roll through that Lava Fonx. I'm not sure whose it is. And then right there, I drop a Bane Signet on the target. It's a 2-second knockdown, and in this spec, you can use it every 36 seconds. That's the only real crowd control that I have. But aside from that, this is a very well-rounded spec. I'm sporting almost 2k toughness, so I have over 3100 armor, so I mitigate direct damage, and I have pretty good condition removal between the Signets, the Smite condition, Meditation, and the Focus 4 ability. So not really too vulnerable to any particular type of damage. Right there, I just try to port up using the Sword 2 teleport ability, and it wouldn't take me up Z-axis. I ended up hitting the wall. So I'm not sure if that would work or not. If you guys have tried traversing Z-axis and it works, I'd love to hear it. Right now, I'm using the Sceptre Focus combination. It's really good for range DPS. And check this out. I'm spamming my 1 key, and it crits the target right there for almost 2k. So I'm able to apply some pretty good range damage, and it's not like the Sceptre Focus is only usable from range. You actually have some good abilities when you're up close to targets. You can use Smite to provide a damage over time effect within an area. Right there, I ported over with the meditation Judge's Intervention. It will burn nearby foes, and it will instant teleport you up to a range of 1200, which rocks, and then I follow up with a Sword 2 teleport for the damage and blindness effect. So we go ahead and we drop a Mesmer there, and then we finish off this warrior. So the Spec really has some good synergies, what I would call in other games global cooldown efficiency, because I've traded for the meditation heal and then the condition removal with signets. When I use a signet or meditation, I get multiple positive things going on aside from what those abilities do by default. And it's really important when building a spec to consider those types of synergies. Right there you can see the target's on fire because I popped Virtue of Justice, which buffs everyone around them to apply burning effect. Although of course in this game burning effects stack in terms of duration, not intensity. So I've swapped weapon sets to the Sceptre focus. See those blue shields around me? That's from the Sceptre 5 ability. It rocks. It will provide you with a 3-second buff for blocks, and then the Sceptre 4 ability will remove conditions. Now we're getting hammered here. We're trying to finish off these players, but a trebuchet is hitting us. And I really should get out of here and just concede the point, but instead I just keep eating trebuchet rounds to the face, and at this point I don't know what I was thinking. I ported back into the fight, the Judge's Intervention, and you know, it's just a matter of time. Like, the next trebuchet round is going to put me on my butt, and that's not good. You know, we're going to lose the point anyway because of the artillery support, and by dying here, I just fed the team 5 more points. You know, there's no reason for me to hang out and eat almost 29,000 damage from a trebuchet. It's just ridiculous. So, the way that I've spec'd this Guardian, it has pretty good power, so I use the Soldier's Amulet and then Berserker's Jewel. So I do pretty solid damage with this, and as I mentioned earlier, my crit rate is 36%. So I crit a lot, I hit reasonably hard, I have a lot of healing, good condition removal, good mitigation, and good range capability and instant cast gap closer. So Spec doesn't really have any weaknesses. Right there, you can see I used my Shield 5 knockback, but it didn't knock that warrior. He's got that little blinking yellow person icon, which is stability. So as soon as stability wears off, I go ahead and drop him on his butt with a Bane Signet just to troll him. And he's coming after me hard. This guy was like trying to follow him around the whole match and kill me. But the only time I died was from that trebuchet. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. And let me know what you think about this video. Give me feedback. If you've got Guardian tips or specs that you'd like to share, please post them, because I'm sure we'd all love to see them. Take care.